But the upstairs conditions aren't the only problems that ROTC has experienced. This construction site has been exposed for months now, preventing the cadets from using the space behind the Military Science Building, including the rappel tower and field behind me, and forcing the cadets to seek other means to practice their drills. The line of succession has grown more complicated in recent days. Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax was accused of sexual assault from an incident at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. Fairfax denies the allegation, saying the encounter was consensual. And earlier this week, Attorney General Mark Herring revealed that he also wore blackface in the 1980s when he dressed as a rapper. Truefit says that the JP2 experiment has been a positive experience so far, and that the residents here are very happy. The majority of college students, today was their first time casting their vote in a presidential election. Exercising this democratic right for the first time is an experience like no other. I found out what some LSU students had to say about their first time in the voting booth. Jimmy Brabner doesn't mind the long, hard hours of labor he puts in every week. He knows it has to be done to repair his flooded home.
It's just a lot of work. I'm doing the work myself. And so you come in after work every day and you knock out, a couple hours worth of work and, go shower, rinse, repeat.
Brabner's home took on a foot of water during the flood back in August. He didn't have flood insurance at the time, so he's had to make do.
I'm going to have to sacrifice to get to where I want to be, but everything in life that's good requires some kind of sacrifice.
Brabner's home was one of 60,000 that were damaged in Louisiana. Without flood insurance, his relief aid options were limited to FEMA and a few other resources. Still, FEMA provided him with a mobile home and financial assistance. FEMA spokesman Paul Cora says he's prepared to stay in Baton Rouge for as long as it takes to help victims rebuild.
We're going to stay here until this, event is done. And so we're going to probably be people here in Louisiana and Baton Rouge probably for the next year or so.
Cora estimated that the average homeowner received about $7,000 in compensation. He says FEMA determines the amount by assessing damage and the number of people per household.
But it's extremely frustrating for survivors. It's to have your house wiped out by a flood with all your possessions in it.
Cora says the renovation process depends largely on how fast contracting companies work. J.W. Grand contractor Scott Cimino is currently repairing 10 houses across the Baton Rouge area. He says homeowners without flood insurance face extreme difficulties.
Some of them, instead of taking a month or 2 or 3 months, it's going to take 6 to 9 months.
Cimino says many flood victims still have to pay their mortgages, on top of hiring individual subcontractors for repairs. But though Brabner may not have much outside help, he says he's blessed with the skills to do renovations on his own.
Life is going to be full of things that you have to deal with, and this is just one of them.
The road ahead appears long and winding, but Brabner knows that the end result will be more than satisfying. For Tiger TV, I'm Lovell.
Go Tigers!
The Military Science Building serves as LSU ROTC's base of operations, and has since the 1960s. But the building is falling apart, plagued with multiple infrastructure problems, which now prevent cadets from performing even the most basic training drills.
We move aside the water buckets that that catch the water when it rains. We have locks on doors. We have to deadbolt them, and we have to do different things like that because we're afraid that someone's going to try to break in.
ROTC recruiting officer Jonathan Price is urging the university to act quickly and repair several problems with the building. Mold and ventilation issues make the second floor nearly impossible to use. The situation is frustrating for Price and other cadets, considering LSU's founding as a military institute in 1860 and gradual decrease in cadet numbers since the Vietnam War.
It just shows you where the priorities of the university are. Ever since then, the Corps of Cadets hadn't been a registered student organization. They hadn't received support from the university. Whenever we tried to do certain events on campus, they were discouraged.
Standing water in the front of the building where ROTC currently conducts its drills has also been a major complication for cadets since Christmas break. LSU Facility Services says both issues are results of 2 major domestic waterline failures within the past year. Repair crews are digging new lines under the building to connect them to piping on South Campus Drive. The projects are expected to take 2 to 3 weeks to complete, but Facility Services could not provide a clear route ahead for all of the other repairs needed, both inside and out, to the building.
The condition of the Military Science Building is not unlike other buildings on campus that are single-story buildings of that age. We have a deferred maintenance list for every building and limited funding to take care of our buildings on campus.
According to Facility Services, the future plan is to demolish this structure and build a new building on another site where ROTC will be relocated. However, when asked when that will happen, officials couldn't provide a specific timetable, stating, "There is no specific schedule at this time to build a new building and relocate military science."
I believe we're aware. I believe the 2 lieutenant colonels that manage that building have been very clear with us about what they would like to see and their concerns.
Price fears the reality is ROTC will be stuck in the military science building indefinitely, a hardship for current cadets and a deterrent for future ones, as prospective candidates turn their eyes to competitor schools such as Texas A&M and UCF. The answer Price is searching for from the university can be summarized into one word: transparency.
With moving forward into the future, include the sole reason why this university is here, follow up on its word that LSU is a university that honors tradition and respects the military, and then actually go into action, and then let's see the results.
ROTC officers acknowledge that there is a contract between LSU and the Department of Defense for the maintenance and supply of a designated building on campus for ROTC training purposes, but Facility Services could not confirm that such a contract exists. When asked, ROTC could not provide a copy of the contract. Tiger TV submitted a FOIA request and is waiting for a response from ROTC Cadet Command. For Tiger TV, I'm Hunter Lovell.
To about 6 feet into the ground.
Number 92, defensive end, Lewis Neal.
Football comes first for LSU senior defensive end Lewis Neal. He gives 100% on the playing field and the practice field. But when practice ends at 6 o'clock every night, Neal heads over to his hair salon.
Oh, I come in every time I have a chance to come in with throughout my schedule. Whenever I get a free opportunity to come, I always stop by.
Neal gets his hair cut frequently at the Hair Factory, a hair salon he co-owns on Nicholson Road. Balancing football and entrepreneurship can be challenging, but he makes it work with his business partner, a partnership that began after a chance meeting during his freshman year.
I walked around one day, and she saw me.
Neal wasn't interested in hairstyling, but he was interested in creating a business, and jumped at this unexpected opportunity.
That's how we began, being friends and whatnot, and gaining that relationship to where we can eventually do business together, because she found out that I was an entrepreneur and I had that type of spirit.
A spirit and drive to succeed off and on the football field. Neal recorded 55 tackles in his final regular season as an LSU Tiger, including 5.5 tackles for loss. Though his time at LSU is coming to a close, he's thankful for the opportunity to wear the purple and gold.
And that's one of the reasons why I came back, and just to enjoy and cherish the moments at LSU. And it's a great feeling to be able to play for a university like LSU.
Neal and the rest of his teammates will find out their bowl destination on Sunday. He wants to go out with a bang.
At the end of the day, that's my last game in the uniform, so at that day, I just want to cherish that moment, have fun, and enjoy that moment with my teammates.
After the season wraps up, Neal will have more time to manage his hair factory. His partner intends to let Neal take full ownership when she leaves for Canada in February.
My goal is to keep everything running like it is now, when she does what she wants to do.
Though he will have his hands full with the upcoming NFL draft, Neal wants to make sure his shop is running smoothly.
You got to grind because, no matter what, you might be busy, but you have time.
Neal plans to keep the hair factory open for another 30 years, long after he steps off the football field. Hunter Lovell, Tiger TV Sports. Current disciplinary action in Louisiana's school system isn't working. Yesterday, a Louisiana Educators Workshop was held at the Raising Cane's River Center to help teachers get a handle on student misbehavior. Louisiana's student disciplinary system hasn't changed since the 1980s. 18,000 students are being sent to alternative sites, 88% of them for regular tardiness, dress code violations, and willful disobedience. Trump's expected to take a victory lap of sorts in the coming weeks to hammer the media for negative coverage that he received the past 2 years from the Mueller probe. And he's likely to place the media in a dishonest light. Do you think we'll see a change now in the type of reporting on high-profile scandals following the Mueller investigation? While we do have former Tigers back on campus today showing off their skills to NFL coaches and staff to prepare for the upcoming NFL draft, there are still current Tigers on campus working hard to prepare themselves for their upcoming season. For the Democratic Party, what are those, the key points into, challenging President Donald Trump? Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz is contemplating a run for president in 2020 as a centrist independent, but Democrats around the country are urging him not to jump in the race. The race for the Democratic nominee for president in 2020 is getting into full swing as the field becomes even more crowded with the addition of former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke.